With the men's team winning last weekend's Great Lakes Regional and the women's team placing second, both squads have qualified for the NCAA Championships to be held on Saturday in Terre Haute, Indiana. The women's race starts at 11 a.m. with the men's race to follow at approximately noon. Director of Cross Country and Track and Field, Mick Byrne, is here. We'll have some opening comments and take questions.
Obviously, we're extremely happy and excited about the performance of both squads on Friday at regionals. Both teams executed the race plan to perfection. On the women's side, we knew that it was going to be a battle of Big Ten teams between Michigan State and Michigan and us. And one of the instructions we gave to our women going into the race was to make sure it didn't become an intense battle like the Big Ten meet 12, 13 days previously with Michigan State. Right from the beginning of the race, Michigan State threw a few of their big guns out front, and we made sure that our women stayed back and just protected their spot, their qualification spot, into the NCAA meet and not get involved in a real intense battle with Michigan State like the Big Ten meet. It didn't really make a lot of sense for that to happen, and they did a fantastic job with that. The way they ran with confidence and poise, and not getting too excited about what was going on up front, and just controlled their group and came through over the last kilometre or two was really exciting to see that. And moving forward into the NCAA meet, hopefully that means some good things are going to happen. And I guess on the men's side, it was to see those young guys bunch up in a group and run together the entire race, and again ran with great poise, great confidence. Big question mark obviously going into the regional meet was the 10K distance and how they'd handle that, and they did a fantastic job just controlling the tempo, not getting too excited too early, and not really going into the tank. So hopefully, again, they've got some energy left, and it's going to be good for us for NCAA meet on Saturday.
Rob.
Mick, how would you project a 5-second split at the regional meet between 2 and 7 on your team at the nationals, and what's the likelihood that you can keep them that bunch that long at Terre Haute?
Well, it's a good question. Again, a different beast. The pace was controlled. Spent most of the race running 5-minute pace. For a lot of our kids, that's just a up-tempo run. It did heat up over the last couple of kilometers, and certainly the team battle changed a bit. Michigan State were 30 points ahead of us on the men's side at 8K, and our guys were able to kind of turn it up a notch over the last couple of kilometers and kind of reel them in. But it's just a different beast next week. It's early pace first 5K is going to be much, much faster. May not be in their comfort zone as like they were this past weekend, but hopefully they'll handle it. We'll keep them in a bunch together, and I think there's great energy when you look to the side and you see your teammate. The big question in Terre Haute is, are they going to be able to find each other real early in the race off the start line? And it's the same for the women. It's again, there's that comfort of running together as a team. Hopefully they can pick each other up real quickly after the start, and again, just settle down. Again, it's all about settling into a rhythm that you're comfortable with and not getting too much out of your zone early in the race.
Eric.
A lot of times it's easy for observers to take success for granted. If you're winning 47 conference championships and you're going to nationals every year, just how hard is it to sustain that kind of success over time?
We were just up in the office talking about that with one of our freshmen who's probably getting a little anxious, a little excited, 5 days out from the race, and in trying to explain to him, we were looking back over the last couple of years' results. You're right, we do take it for granted, and he was asking us what's a realistic finish, and we kind of broke it down the last couple of years. All we can control is what happens to our guys, keeping them calm, keeping them relaxed over the next couple of days, worrying about other teams, taking the pressure off those guys. they understand, and I keep talking about this, they understand the history. 18 times in the top 10 consecutively over the last 18 years. That's pretty amazing. 43 years qualifying. You know, some teams in this meet for the first time. And it doesn't matter whether it's our men's team or a women's team. Yes, we have to go back to 2006 for the last time our women's team finished in the top 10. You know, we can't take any of this for granted, and especially with two young teams. But they're going to go in there this weekend. They know that it's a national championship. They've had some really good success this season. They're very confident. And when you win and you run well, you take that confidence into the next meet. And there's a great buzz about our teams right now. They're excited about getting out of here on Wednesday, going to Terre Haute, and getting ready for the meet.
The last thing anybody in this room wanted to do last Friday would be to run 6K or 10K. And how do cross-country athletes do that in such cold weather and do it so successfully?
Yeah, that was a worry, but you know, earlier on in the week, last week, as you know, we were talking about snow. We were talking about some really bad conditions. As the week went on and the snow was blowing to the east and north from here, we were getting more and more excited. Thursday, out at the course, it was awful. It was windy, it was cold, but then on Friday the sun came out. The wind died down. There was very little wind, and that was great for the athletes, all athletes. But with that window of 2 hours where the sun came out, it was pretty nice out there.
But it's still hard to do.
It's still hard to do. They're calling for pretty nasty conditions in Terre Haute this week, so we'll see. Just do it. It's tougher on the coaches.
Mick, speaking of Indiana State, I mean, they've hosted this meet, you know, a lot here in the last couple decades. Has it become the Rose Bowl of cross country, do you feel? And what does the course do to challenge runners at this level in this meet?
Again, it's like our course. It's a very spectator-friendly course, and that's great for the kids. You know, you get 10,000, 15,000 people out there next weekend, and you know, when you're on that starting line and all the kids from different universities that qualify have road trips, it becomes a competition. Who's got the most supporters there? A lot of fans. It's in the center of the country, so it's easier to get to. It's just a good atmosphere. They put on a good show, and it's just an overall atmosphere that the presentation is real good, and I think the kids buy into that.
Brian.
Mick, where does your men's squad fit in the whole grand scheme of things as far as a possibility of bringing home a national championship? And secondly, can your women beat Michigan State?
I was wondering who was going to ask that question. Again, you look at the history, the past 18 years, top 10. A realistic goal for us going into this meet is finish in the top 10. We have a really good day, maybe it's a top 5. I'm not sure if it's a podium team. They're so young, but you know, these young guns have surprised me so far this year. Again, the way they executed the race plan last Friday, they ran with such poise and maturity. I don't think I've seen that in my 30 years of coaching. How they were able to handle that, number one, the pressure, but also the increased distance, and just the smartness in the way the race savviness of those young guys out there last week was incredible. And it's the same on the women's side. They're learning how to run together as a team, which is something we always stress. They're learning to get excited about winning, and that's also real good for them. And I think a realistic goal for the women is in top 5 or top 6. You know, there's some people talking about them being a podium team. That's, if we have a really good day, that's a possibility. So, but when you look over the progress that we've made over 12 months, I think, you know, we'll all agree that we're in a pretty good spot right now.
Rob?
Mick, you mentioned after the meet on Friday that you hope especially those young guys, can recover. What is that process like? How does one recover from, you know, one meet to the next? And then with I think this is the second year that it's gone to a Saturday start. How does that loss of 2 days impact that recovery?
Well, hopefully it's not going to hurt us. I certainly would prefer going back to the Monday. I think it's good for the sport, but you know, it is what it is, and we got to go on Saturday. We came back on this past Saturday. It was a very, very light jog, a lot of recovery stuff, rehab, ice bathing, massages, stuff like that. Yesterday was another very light day because it was extremely cold here, and with the snow overnight, we wanted to make sure that nothing happened with them going outside, slipping or anything like that. Today, although it's cold, we will do a longer run, and for the rest of the week, it'll just easy, just maintenance runs.
Anything else for Coach? All right.
Thanks,
Mick.